The 112th Congress gets sworn in tomorrow, and some of them have already set a clear agenda to roll back what the last Congress did. House Republicans want President Obama to join with them and cut federal spending, ban earmarks, overhaul the tax code, and one more thing, they want to repeal the health care overhaul.
Yeah, we're going to rip it out by its roots. I mean, this is all about accountability, about a big tax bill that had small pieces of reform attached to it. It really didn't have a whole lot to do with health care reform.
This is nothing more. This repeal of health care by the Republicans is political theater. It is a kabuki dance.
The Senate will still be under Democratic control, and the president can veto a repeal, so it's not likely that the health bill will be scrapped altogether. Clearly, there is a shift on the Hill, but does it mean anything will actually change, or does it mean gridlock in different numbers? Joined tonight by Democratic strategist Robert Wiener, straight off a plane at Reagan National, and Republican strategist Jack Berkman. Jack, I'll start with you and let Robert catch his breath here. What's old is new again, right? Republicans are promising action, and the first thing they do is hold a symbolic debate and vote to repeal health care. What's the deal?
Well, I don't know that it'll be, good evening, Brian, first of all. I don't know that it'll be symbolic. I mean, there is a real chance. I think the media is missing something here. If Republicans want to take this all the way, and I'm not so sure they shouldn't, they could put it into an appropriations bill. House Republicans could return to a situation like 95 where they threaten a government shutdown. This time, though, you don't have a Bill Clinton. You have a Barack Obama. He's not as strong. He doesn't have the same capability base. He also doesn't have as much room to go to the right, still fearing a possibility of a primary in 2012. Republicans this time might just win that showdown.
Robert, do you think that the country has a stomach for a government shutdown with all that's wrong right now with our economy?
Well, Jack is talking about concept, but the reality is this bill, you mentioned I'm off the plane. I told the flight attendant that I was going to be doing this interview, and I told him what's in the bill. When you talk about it protects against pre-existing condition block, it gives the donut hole, it covers seniors' drugs, it's lifetime benefits, and it covers your kids' health care. You know, when you talk about the specific provisions, the airline attendant said, this is a great bill. He didn't know that was in it. When you talk about what's in the bill, people support it with over 70%. Yeah, so the Republicans are nuts.
Robert, Republicans, Tea Partiers, they were swept into office to stop the spending. Are Democrats willing to pare down some of the fat in this health care bill?
Well, you're exactly right, Brian.
Right.
There's a mandate. Republicans have come in with a powerful mandate, and now is the time to implement that mandate. I mean, not to re-argue the health debate here. That would take another. That could take days. The point is, the public. We know from just about every opinion poll there is that the American people opposed health care generally.
Robert,
they opposed it as a package.
What do you say?
Now, can I get my 2 cents in on that though? Because yes, when you talk about health care, it's socialist. Well, sure, anybody's against socialism. But when you talk about the bill as a whole, people support it. And yes, the Tea Party came in on a mandate to cut spending. The health bill cuts $100 billion from the insurance companies this decade and $1 trillion next decade. It stops the growth of the explosive health care spending.
Robert,
that's why it was so important to pass it, and that's what the bill does that actually people like.
Robert, what are the Democrats' plans to stimulate the economy besides spending?
Well, President Obama had a pretty darn good lame duck session in terms of tax cuts for middle and lower incomes, which do stimulate the economy, but the rich tax cuts don't do anything, according to CBO. The Republicans only want to give away more money to the rich.
Actually, that's not true at all. That's not true at all for the simple reason that the middle and lower people don't pay any tax in America, so those are the least important taxes to cut. It's impossible that could stimulate anything. The rich, the upper 1% pays about 90% of the country's federal income tax.
So, Jack, is that the Republicans' plan here to create jobs? I mean, John Boehner said it's all about jobs. Is it all about the trickle-down effect here?
Well, yes, largely. I mean, what it is for Republicans, we want the economy to work on its own. We don't want to create jobs through government spending. We don't want to socialize the economy. We don't want to move any further to the left. I think one of the big things Republicans want to do is just get out of the way and let the economy work on its own.
Robert, do you think the economy is back to the point where it can work on its own? And I'll give you the last word tonight.
It really works so well to let the economy work on its own with Wall Street and the crash. Trickle down has not worked since Herbert Hoover tried it in the 30s. And when you do a stimulus and a prime the pump, then you get an economy that actually has 4 to 5 times the expansion of the gross national product.
Right.
So you've got to do the expansion for lower and middle class. You cannot do it. Money for the rich only makes the rich richer.
Robert Wiener obviously caught his breath on the airplane and was very eloquent tonight for his side of the aisle. And Jack Berkman, as always, you were too. Thank you guys both.